if you still happen to own one of these things, one of first generation Fortuners, whether it be the 2.5, which is this one, the 3 liter, or the gasoline one, and you find yourself unable to sell it and you just want to keep it, but find that it's not exactly that fast anymore, or you have a newer Fortuner or a newer Nissan, you say that this is a lot faster than my old car. But sayang eh. Sayang tawag kasi it's still a we have one of these things actually, and it's pretty durable. We have a 2010 Innova, which is basically the same car if you strip it down. Out of all the cars I own, that Innova is the one with zero kalampag and zero langit-ngit. So as daily transportation, as to ferry people from A to B, that's actually a very, very good vehicle. So, but if you want more power, like what this guy he has come in, ECU remap is the answer. And what I usually do is I try to interview the person and get the history behind the car because for some unknown reason, people never ever tell the complete story. They don't lie intentionally, they just don't say it. So apparently, upon further investigation, because his first message was, can we have it checked first before remap? Rather than going to the whole thing that, okay, we'll check it by putting in the dyno, see if it's correct crossfire, I just told just to bring it. So he brought it, and then upon further inquiry, this engine's already been overhauled. He changed out the injector, so and he felt that it's not enough. And then he said that I have a newer 2017 Fortuner, and obviously you cannot use that to compare to this one. It's 10 years apart. So, no. Anyway, we have it here in the dyno, and I did tell him the horsepower numbers we'll get from here are really, really low. A stock of this one will make only about 70, 75 horses. So, it, then they will go like 70, 75 horses. That low? Yes, that low. Because if you look at the brochure for this thing, way, way back, the 2.5 liter lists its power as 105 horse, sometimes 110 PS, I think. If it's either 105 or 110, one of those things, I'm not sure. So anyway, you take that, you minus the drivetrain losses, and you get about 75, maybe 70. So 40 horses is kind of an acceptable loss for this generation of the car. It's really like that. So don't be surprised if it's slow. But back then, when this was sold in 2008, this was one of the more powerful SUVs you can buy because in 2008, what can you buy? You can buy a Trooper, which is more expensive. That's 130 horse. You can buy a Pajero Fieldmaster. That's 125 horse. You can buy a Nissan Eagle. I don't think that's even 100 horse. Or an Isuzu Crosswind. Oh, that's not 100 horse, definitely. So when these things came out, Innova, Fortuner, Hilux, with the new direct inject diesels, that's why everybody was buying this way back in the day. Well, even up to now. But back then, if you wanted to buy a new diesel car, this is it. There's no other choice. And this is a sub 1 million car way, way back then in 2008. I think the starting price when this came out was like 750 or 780. So at that time, it's very affordable. Then again, the Vios back then was only like 450,000. So we'll do the baseline first now and see how much power it makes. If it makes any. Okay, we've done our 2 baseline runs and it is underpowered because we got only about 53, 55 horses. Why is it like that? Well, there are a few things that we read when we do a dyno test. So aside from horsepower and torque, we also read air-fuel ratio, which is this chart. And you can see here the numbers are from 14 to 21. This is the typical air-fuel ratio for gasoline. Usually the line should be somewhere here. The mere fact that it's a straight line here, which simply means that it's beyond measurement. It's super duper lean. The oxygen sensor can't pick it up anymore. So it needs more fuel to make more power. And the other thing we check is boost. There you go. This green thing here, this is the airline that we plug in here. So there you go. If you notice that this yellow line here, so this goes into the map sensor. This is the car's map sensor. This also reads boost. So this one physically goes in and reads boost too. This one is plumbed directly to the turbocharger here. So the intake here. So this is the intake. So boost comes in. This is the absolute boost after the throttle body. So this hose here feeds to the map sensor here. This sends a signal to the ECU that tells us how much boost the car is making. This line does the same thing, sends a pressure signal here to the back of our dyno there that tells us how much boost we're making. And from we can see here, the boost is 12 psi. This is the correct boost for this generation Fortuner and Innova and Hilux. So that tells us one of two things. Number one, the turbo is working. And number two, there's nothing wrong with the boost. Sometimes we get the boost that's low because this is this one. This is a maintenance item. This thing's a filter. This gets clogged. So if we see abnormally low boost, the first thing we do is simply just remove that and then plug it straight together. So then once the boost comes up and it's the correct value, we tell them to buy a new one of this one. I think this is about 1.5, 1.7. So again, boost is correct, turbocharger is working, engine is working. It's just that there's a lack of fuel. He did say he did change the injector, so number one, might not be calibrated correctly. Number two, might possibly be the wrong size nozzle, but that is well within the realm of tuning. So we'll see how much more we can tune for this one. Just for reference, if this was a healthy working 2.5 at which makes about 75 horses, after remapping we normally get about 35, 40 horses, so usually end up at around 110, maybe 120 horse. We will try to see if we can, from this one, we can reach that level to what it's supposed to be if this was correctly tuned to begin with. Okay, we're writing the file now, so we've managed to read the contents of the ECU, the identification number, then we're able to make a tune map and a tune file, then we're writing it right now. So that little green progress bar is us writing in the new tune. That's why it's called Remap and Reflash, because the laptop treats your ECU as a flash drive. So Reflash, flash drive. So it's the same thing. There's a file inside the car. We get that file, we read it, we edit it, then we put it back. It's like a Word file or an Excel file. You can open it in Microsoft Word, you can open it in Microsoft Excel, you edit the contents, you save it, and then you email it or you throw it back into the flash drive. So that's basically what tuning is. And the important thing is, aside from that, is the dyno. So you will see on Facebook now, of course, you do a little browsing on the internet, you will see other people who will offer you remap for your car, and then they will tell you that it's street tuned. Street tuning is basically kind of stupid. It's like training for a marathon or training for a 100-meter dash where you don't know where the finish line is and you don't have a stopwatch. So you don't know how fast you are or how slow you are. So that's basically it. It is uninstrumented testing, which, as we have shown here now, that if this guy went to some other dude that does remap, both of them will not know that this car is below substandard power. And then after tuning, they will not know how much power that they make. So again, street tuning is stupid. That's why these things were, all of these instrumented tests were invented. So that's why the dyno was invented. That's why the thing to read boost was invented. To read the air fuel ratio was also invented, because when you're gonna do something like this, like tune an engine, you need all the data that you can and not guesswork. So street tuning is basically guesswork, and they'll punch in a few numbers, say, lumakas? Oh, lumakas. Oh, okay na yan. Whether it increases by 5 horse, 10 horse, 20 horse, you don't know. The guy doing it, the tuning, will not know also. So the important thing here is to have the dyno. The dyno is not just here for us to show you the numbers and just for you to make you happy. The dyno is here for us as a diagnosis tool to see if your car is performing well, And after tuning, is it performing up to standard? And if not, what is wrong? What's the possible things that are wrong with it? Okay, we're done with our tune, and that's it, Pansit. We started at 53 horses, and then this is our first tune, first and second tune, and then this is our third tune, and this is pretty much what it is now. They cannot increase the fuel pressure no more. That's the physical limitation of the thing, the injector, the map sensor, the control system. That's basically it. So we got 40 horses from the get-go here. So, and that happens at a very low 2,700 RPM. If you notice here at 22 RPM, we went from 50 horse to 90 horse also. So that's 40 horses right then and there. The biggest gain is here, although well, of course the biggest gain is for the diesel is around 3,200, 3,400 RPM. So we went from 45 horse to 90 horse. So that's 45 horses there. 25 to 75 though, that's 50 horses right there at the very bottom. And the torque, this is what everybody likes on a diesel. So if it went from 160, so it's more, not exactly double, but from 160 to 280 Newton meters, and then here from 140 to 260. Not quite double, but good enough. We didn't reach 100, so but that's the condition of the car. So again, if there's no dyno, we would not know any of these things. So that's why the dyno is very, very important for us to tell if what we're doing is correct and if it's enough. And if it's enough, then we can say that, okay, so for this car, this is it, nothing more.